President Trump on Saturday called for a crackdown against violent protesters, first on Twitter and then during his departure from the White House by offering to send soldiers to Minnesota.
Look, they've got to be tough, they've got to be smart. We have our military ready, willing, and able if they ever want to call our military. But we can have troops on the ground very quickly if they ever want our military.
Trump's remarks came hours after he tweeted that if protesters breached White House barriers, they would be, quote, greeted with the most vicious dogs and most ominous weapons I have ever seen. The Pentagon took the unprecedented step of putting military units on a 4-hour recall status to be ready if they are called upon to support the first full activation of the Minnesota National Guard since World War II. The day started out peaceful on Saturday with nonviolent protests stretching from the White House to the West Coast.
Silence is violent!
With demonstrators expressing outrage over the death of George Floyd, a black man, by a white Minneapolis police officer who has since been fired and arrested for murder and manslaughter. But authorities warned of more violence during the night, citing the influence of outside groups ranging from white supremacists to global anarchists, who they say are using the protests to spread chaos and violence. St. Paul, Minnesota Mayor Melvin Carter.
Every single person we arrested last night, I'm told, was from out of state.
Attorney General William Barr confirmed the idea that peaceful protests were being co-opted, but without any proof, he pinned the blame on left-leaning organizations.
Groups of outside radicals and agitators are exploiting the situation to pursue their own separate and violent agenda. In many places, it appears the violence is planned, organized, and driven by anarchic and left extremist groups, far left extremist groups, using Antifa-like tactics, many of whom travel from outside the state to promote the violence.
Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz had a warning for those looking to use legitimate protests over Floyd's death to spread violence and destruction.
So if you are on the streets tonight, it is very clear. You are not with us, you do not share our values, and we will use the full strength of goodness and righteousness to make sure that this ends. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions along with the folks up here.